What's up, guys? Welcome back to another TheSportUniverse podcast. It's number 15. Um, I'm Brian, and I'm joined with Nick again.
What's going on, guys?
Jonathan's not here today, but we'll be good. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. I think this will be an interesting podcast. I'm going to have my little Mets rant at the beginning because they're still doing really good. So I think I'll just get started with that. So on my last podcast, I talked about how for some reason the Mets were the hottest team in baseball, and they still are, I'd say. I think anyone would agree with me on that. It's not just me being a biased Mets fan. They are 15. They've won 15 of their last 16. I just did a TheSportUniverse reacts to them, so I'm not going to go totally in because I want you guys to watch that, but everything's clicking on all cylinders for the Mets. Mickey Callaway has turned into a pretty good coach. I don't think he's actually doing that great. It's just that everything the Mets are doing is turning out to be great. All their pitching has been really good. Even Marcus Stroman, who I didn't understand that trade, has gotten into the swing of things and is really helping the Mets out. Their hitters, like I've talked about, J.D. Davis has been a really big surprise this season, and he's hit home runs in his last 3 games, I think. Yeah, and yesterday, Luis Guillorme, who I'm sure no one knows who that is, randomly had a pinch hit home run to tie the game. I think it was, to tie the game. So just everyone is coming up clutch, and it's basically like next man up, and it's just like a magical time that I hope never ends. It will, though, but I hope it never does. I guess that's all I have to say about the Mets.
Yeah, can agree with that. The Nets have been absolutely the hottest team in baseball. They've done nonstop winning. They're in the wild card race for sure now. It's looking up. I personally, from outside perspective, can't really see what changed in the Mets, but everything's just clicking right now. And you can't complain with that from a fan's perspective.
Definitely.
I guess moving on to the Yankees, nothing much has changed really. The Yankees are still the Yankees. They're still 8.5 games ahead in first place. This injuries still sort of plaguing the team, but they're still winning. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Aaron Judge is in kind of a slump, but nothing too crazy. They're still winning most of their games, so not much news there.
I mean, for how good the Mets have been, the Yankees have been in this last stretch similarly as well, doing good.
It's good news for New York sports. Both teams winning.
If you're one of those
Mets Yankees World Series ?
I would want the Mets in the World Series, but I would not want them to play the Yankees just because of how annoying that whole series would be. I've talked to my dad enough about how the 2000 World Series went, and it was not an enjoyable time, and I don't want to go through that. But yeah, New York sports is doing good. If you're one of those stupid fans that are Mets and Yankees fans, like Jonathan is, I'm sure you're having a good time. Just pick a side. I mean, it's just stupid at this point. But I guess that's all our baseball talk. You can talk about the NBA. There's kind of really nothing going on. Nick wanted to talk about the USA national team a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, as Brian said, there's not much going on in the NBA right now. It's pretty quiet.
It's been pretty quiet for a while.
Not too many trades going on. But I guess in terms of the USA team, one thing I've noticed that's kind of interesting is almost most of the most talented players in the league, all-stars have dropped out. Whether it be, injury related or they want to, again, with all the moves going on in the off season, a lot of the players are trying to work out and prepare for the new season with their new team. That's the reason James Harden, I know, dropped out with acquiring Russell Westbrook. He wants to get his chemistry on with him. PJ Tucker's still playing from the Rockets on there. I think Coach Pop is is coaching it, and I think that's why PJ Tucker wanted to still play. But irregardless, a lot of players are dropping out, so this is maybe possibly not a shoe-in for the USA national team like it usually is every year to at least make the finals and the championship or the entire tournament. The Greek Freak's playing for Greece, so that's pretty interesting. So they could be a team to look out for.
Yeah.
Going along that, apparently Melo contacted the USA national team to possibly play or something along those lines is what was in the media. And I forget if it was the coach or somebody at the head of the USA national team didn't want Melo on the team. And people were a little just deterred by that because Melo's Melo, and regardless of his state, he's still a talented basketball player, could really help out the USA national team. But whoever at the heads, I can't remember who said it. So they didn't want Melo because of the controversy surrounding him and the fact that he can't really get into the NBA right now. And he said he wants Melo to resurrect his career, but he doesn't want to be on the national team. He wants it to be in the NBA.
That seems kind of stupid to me. I mean, Carmelo Anthony would probably be one of the best players on that team, considering who's on the team currently. And I talked about in the TheSportUniverse Reacts in the last podcast about his interview with Stephen A. Smith about how the media has overplayed every bad thing about him and has made him seem like a villain in the NBA when he's really not, and he's been given a bad rap by the media, and I think it's just taking a toll on every single thing that he wants to do.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that. I mean, I saw that you talked about the Melo situation last week, and you actually did a reaction video on it, so check it out, guys. But yeah, I mean, Melo is really not that big of a problem. He's pretty talented in terms of the whole of the NBA. He definitely should be making a roster somewhere. It's not like he's had a horrible scandal where he beat someone or this and that. He literally just got cut, and people say he plays a little too much iso ball, but at the end of the day, he's a talented basketball player, and he definitely deserves to make a roster.
Yeah. It's kind of stupid at this point. I guess that's all the NBA news. We're kind of running through this quick.
The NFL,
there's a lot.
That's the bulk.
I'll let you go on a little rant about the NFL since you're big into that.
Yeah, so I guess I'll run through all the news, and Brian, you can comment at the end if you'd like. So, as a Giants fan, the Jets and Giants first preseason game looked pretty well for both teams, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets' first teams did really well. Sam Darnold performed pretty well. It was looking good for the Jets there. Nothing too crazy on the Jets side except one player. I'll get to him. The Giants did exceptionally well, surprisingly well. The offensive line played extremely well. The defense was very solid. Nobody expected them to do that well. I think the biggest surprise at the end of the day was Daniel Jones. He was the highest rated rookie quarterback out of last week. I think he went 5 for 5 or 67 yards and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. I watched the drive. He was throwing balls on the money, making good decisions. It was pretty solid, even though people are saying it's on the Jets' second-team defense. But the throws he made were great throws. It doesn't matter who was defending.
I think for him, he's had his people expect so little from him that anything he does that's positive is blown out proportion. But what he did was very impressive, and it wasn't just him being okay. He had a perfect drive on his first NFL drive, which is very good to see.
And also another moment from that game that I wanted to talk about was I think it was Corey Ballantyne and it was Michael Thomas, the safety and rookie. Corey Ballantyne's rookie corner for the Giants. Michael Thomas is one of the safeties that they've had on the team for a while. Corey Ballantyne came to the sideline and I think he was talking about how he wanted to adjust coming back out on defense the next drive. And Michael Thomas came to him and he was talking about Davis Webb and he goes, "We had this guy in the team last year. He's going to, regardless of whether you're guarding the player or not, he's going to chuck it up, so expect to get an interception," which I thought was pretty funny. And then Davis Webb threw 2 interceptions and terrible throws. I watched the plays and he threw the interceptions. He had 5-yard checkdowns wide open. He threw it to 1-on-1 and he threw interceptions, which I thought was really funny. So Michael Thomas was dissing his old teammate.
Wait, was there like audio of it? Like,
yeah, there was audio.
Okay.
You guys can look it up. There's audio. It was like Corey Ballantyne. He came back to the sideline. He was just talking about how he wanted to make an adjustment on who he was guarding or something along those lines. And Michael Thomas was like, "Look, this guy was on the team last year, and he's going to chuck up terrible throws. So expect to get an interception or a chance for one." Moving on, Kyler Murray did pretty well. I think Daniel Jones, I think, had a rating in the 90s, quarterback rating in the 90s. Kyler Murray had somewhere in the 80s. Kyler Murray performed pretty well. He had a similar, I think it was like 5 for 6 for 60-something yards as well, along those lines. So he had a pretty good outing. On a larger note, Dwayne Haskins definitely disappointed. He had a rating in the 40s. I think he threw like 2 interceptions. He didn't seem to make great reads. So it definitely looks like stuff he could fix. He definitely had some positive moments in his game and watching through the film. But it was definitely a disappointing outing considering, he was coming out of this draft, he was the perfect mold for the quarterback. The quarterback that everyone expected to pretty much do well without any mishaps.
Mm-hmm.
He turned out to have the worst outing in his first preseason game. There's actually this one play that I remember off the top of my head. He was throwing to I don't remember what the play was, but the tight end had a seam route, which is basically tight end on the hash. He's just running up, assuming that it's like a cover 2 defense. He's just gonna run a streak up the hash, and the linebacker pressed him at the line. I guess the guy who was supposed to be covering him in that zone pressed him. Tight end kind of beat the press, but really didn't. I mean, the guy was covered, and Dwayne Haskins threw the ball at the seam, hoping that the tight end would turn around, do like a jump ball. He never turned around. The two defenders over top closed in, and the linebacker was still on him, so he threw essentially in a triple coverage. He didn't get picked, I don't think. No, I think it did get picked, actually. I can't remember, but it was not a great decision. Like he threw the ball expecting the tight end to make a jump ball catch and essentially get lucky or make a play. But, if you're throwing into a guy that covered, it's usually not that good of a throw.
Definitely. I mean, the one thing that everyone has to remember is, like, preseason is preseason, and, like, even if you do bad, like Dwayne Haskins did, or you did really well, like Daniel Jones, it's not the precursor to what your whole season's going to be like, what your whole career is going to be like. But, yeah.
For sure.
That's the annoying thing about preseason. Like, it could go either way. Even if you do good, it's not like you're going to do good. If you do bad, it's not like you're going to do bad.
I guess moving on, another highlight that I saw was McCole Hardman, drafted by the Chiefs. I forget which round. Speed receiver. He got like one of the newer plays that they're using in the NFL, which is like a tip pass where the quarterback will get it out of shotgun. He'll literally catch it and like tip it almost like a volleyball type of tip to a running back or receiver running in front of him, and they ran to end around with it. And Hardman took off. He split a hole and he took it to the end zone. He was extremely fast. He looks like he looks like going into the regular season, he looks like he could be a nice combo along with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. I guess something to help replace the loss of Kareem Hunt. Unnecessary loss, but I don't know. Just the Chiefs, I want to say for the past 3 years now, especially last year and going into this year. Me personally, I was making this comparison that the Chiefs are kind of becoming the new Patriots, where they have Mahomes, they have a solid coach, right, in comparison to Brady and Belichick, and they'll find players to fill the roles that they need based on what they're running.
Yeah.
So they may have lost Hunt, but I think they had Damian Williams fill in last year at running back, and he performed very well. And he wasn't Kareem Hunt, but he still performed very well. So I think it's like the Chiefs kind of have a system here, along with with Mahomes at the helm and Reed at the coach, that they could be continually great for years to come.
As long as it's not in the Jets division, or I guess for you the Giants division, we're good with it.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, Chiefs are probably my second favorite team in the NFL. But I got to put the Giants at number 1. Probably the Chiefs at number 2. Texans at 3. Jets at 4.
Oh,
Other than
wow.
that, yeah.
Jets.
I mean, they're from New York. I gotta like the Jets, right?
Oh,
I don't have to love them, but
I don't like the Giants at all, so I'm not going to say they're number 4 or 5.
I guess the last story that came out from the NFL, one of the bigger ones, was Browns. I forget. I don't even know what position he played. I think he's.
I have no idea.
All I know is he was a punt returner.
Yeah.
He returned a punt. Okay, I think it was a wide receiver. I think he's a wide receiver. His name is Damon Sheehy Giuseppe. Sorry if I butchered the name. Apparently, he was homeless. He was sitting outside the Browns' practice facility or whatnot, and they gave him a shot. I'm not exactly 100% sure of the story.
I think one of the stories I saw was that he used all of his money to get a ticket to just sit outside the Browns facility and just hope for a tryout.
Yeah, I mean, I think he played either D1 or D2, so he's not like he's a nobody. I think people are misconstrued on that. But I mean, he okay. So here, looking through a quick highlight from Washington Post. He's a 24-year-old receiver he's been out of football for 2 years. So he's been looking for work, but I digress. He returned to a punt yesterday for 86 yards, so he's been really high in the news. Apparently Odell gave him his shoes that were broken in, so it was like a nice gesture by Odell, and I don't know, they were talking about it on the news. Stories like this is one of the reasons why I love the NFL. Football as a sport being so, I don't know. There's a lot of ways a person can be used in football, whether they're fat, strong, skinny, fast. There's different ways you can use. In basketball, you kind of have to be able to shoot the basketball or dunk it, in order to get into the league.
Yeah, and be able
or
to
baseball, you got to be able to hit the ball.
Yeah.
But the NFL, you could use. Some people love it because of this. Some people hate it because of this. You can kind of use anybody and make them useful in football.
Yeah.
As long as you put them into the right system. That's why I love the NFL, because somebody like him who's been out of football for 2 years can make an impact on a team.
And also, it definitely helps that they have one of 52-man rosters.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of positions to fill, but that's definitely true.
And definitely preseason they have 90. Was it 90? I believe is the number of players you can have on a team. The only thing the NFL is really missing is a AAA or a lower division they can hold players on. I do have the practice squads but it's not the same.
No, it's not like new people that could be good are going to be in there. It's very rare.
I guess. Moving on from that, the last piece I want to talk about the NFL was that the NFL is kind of having a new meta. The Giants ran it on Thursday. It's RPOs. Almost every the league is definitely shifts from year to year, but there's a larger shift that's been happening. I guess the decade based. 80s and 90s. It was a lot about running the ball. People like Michael Irvin and going into the 2000s, Randy Moss kind of shifted it from a running league to a passing league. And it's kind of been in that passing league for quite some time now. Things where, most of the snaps are taken out of shotgun, and they're running a bunch of stuff out of the gun and pistol sets and along those lines. And it's kind of taking a shift now into RPOs, which I guess the Eagles started. The Chiefs run them, the Giants run them. I mean, every team pretty much has RPOs in their playbook now. And it's almost like an in-between type of play, right? RPOs that people don't know is run-pass option. So basically, the quarterback gets the ball, he reads the defense, right? He's going to fake or either really give the handoff or he's going to fake it to a running back. He's going to watch the linebacker, shove safeties, whoever is supposed to read on the play. If they come up for the run, he'll throw it over the top, whether it's a slant or a bubble screen, whatever it might be. It could be really effective if it's ran the right way, and it's really, me being a defensive player, trickery like that, it's so hard to stop, especially because, even a simple screen is hard to stop. Because me as a D tackle, right, I get all my might to go through the lineman in front of me, and then I pull the door on me, I get whiffed. You got to look around, what's happening. Before you know it, the running back has the screen out on the hash, and he's down the field 5 yards. So, our RPOs are going to be really effective. So, just how effective they can be, I mean, I don't really think there's a defense that's like a guaranteed stop for them right now, and that's why it's so effective. I mean, somebody eventually could be the Patriots, could find a really effective way to stop RPOs, but until then, it's going to be tough. Because again, as a linebacker, if you see a handoff to the running back, you're probably going to shoot. You're probably going to shoot the gap, especially if it's done right. Especially if you know the team runs RPOs and it's definitely not a play action. Like you're kind of forced to shoot the gap at the running back and leave space open for a pass. So,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not really from obviously I didn't play football, but what I've seen from that is that it's very hard for the defense to stop, but the quarterback has to be very. They have to be able to read the defense that's coming at them, and to make that quick of a decision is definitely a hard thing to do, and you have to be skilled at that. So I guess it's just going to progress from there, finding defensive ways to stop that. But it also
100%.
helps when a lot of the quarterbacks that are in the league now have the ability to run fast. I guess that's it for the NFL, right? I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, I mean, we're heading into preseason week number 2. Yeah, not much to talk about there. Oh, I guess kind of NFL. First weekend league of Madden Pass. I went 17-8. For anybody who's wondering, everybody's Madden fans out there went 17-8. Disconnected from a few games. Should have went 21-4. A little pissed about that. I'm a big Madden head. I guess anybody's listening who's a Madden fan, feel free to contact me. I run a bunch of different stuff, and I'd say I'm pretty good at the game. I'm close to top 100 every week. Sometimes I'm top 100. I may want some tips. I'm here. Contact me. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for NFL football.
What does top 100 mean?
So
in the world,
so there's MUT champs, which is these weekly. We have champs / weekend week. They're kind of interchangeable. You get 25. Well, first you have to qualify during the week, whether you have to advance in a season or you have to play 3 games and win them all in a row. It's not too difficult to enter, but the weekend league itself is very competitive. Like all the best Madden players play there. Like if you look at the regular head-to-head seasons leaderboards and you look at the weekend league leaderboards, the people who are on top of the head-to-head seasons are usually in the top 100, which is just insane. These people are insanely good at Madden, and I don't think I'm their level yet, but I'm pretty decent. But the weekend league itself, you get 25 games, and depending on how many you win is where you rank. So I went 17-8, but honestly, I think I should have went 21-4, which is probably top 10, top 20% in the world. To make top 100, you need to get 19 wins. You have to go 19-6. And some of these people go 24-1, 25-0. They're pretty insane. RPOs are actually pretty effective in Madden right now because I run them in my scheme.
There we go. That's how it connects.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get into our controversy at this point. It's kind of gotten there's not a lot of controversies left to discuss, and I'm not saying the one that we're going to discuss isn't important, but I kind of just pulled this one out of the hat about women being paid equal in sports. Is that something you would like to discuss, Nick?
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay.
People are not going to like my answer probably, but okay. That's why it's controversial.
Yeah. This, obviously, women, I'd like to have the controversy kind of make sense with what else we've been discussing, but it doesn't really make sense with anything we've discussed today.
Yeah, well, I mean, people who come for one thing,
That's true. Yeah, we like to diversify our content.
You gotta diversify, yeah.
So I guess I'll give my take on it. It's probably gonna come as a surprise to Nick, but I don't really see. I get the whole thing about women being paid equal, but in such a sport, in the world of sports, it's all about entertainment, and women's sports don't provide a lot of entertainment to people. And I get the whole thing about women being paid equal and they deserve equal chances, but I feel like in the entertainment world, it's a little bit different, especially in the sports entertainment world, that these women's sports World Cups, obviously World Cup, but women's regular season soccer, or if it's softball or basketball, they don't receive as much views as men do and those type of sports. So I don't really see it as a thing that women should be paid equal. If the entertainment value is there, then definitely, but it's not there at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I totally agree with you. I mean, me being biology major, I'm pretty big into biology, and it's just like from a simple biological standpoint, and people might disagree with this, but I'm just talking from a scientific standpoint. Women can't perform the same in sports as guys can. It's simply, a women dunking in the WNBA. It's rare. Like if they even dunk to begin with, it's on the news. It's going to be on ESPN.
Yeah.
If it does it in the NBA, nobody really cares unless it's a cool dunk. I think the important part about it is equal opportunity, not equal outcomes. So what I mean by that is women should have, if women are talented and people want to watch women, they should and there's money to be made off of it. There should be no law, nothing keeping them back from that happening, right? They should be allowed to have their own league and compete as much as they want. If that's what society wants, then absolutely there shouldn't be anything impeding them. But not equal outcomes, meaning that if they're not as entertaining or they're not as talented as men are, then why should they be paid the same? If people, I forget. I think it's Rapinoe brought this up about, the Women's World Cup makes X amount more than men's soccer or whatnot. But it's literally she compares the numbers like differently. I think she compares like the World Cup to like regular men's soccer. But if you look at like Women's Cup to Men's Cup or something along those lines, or it's either she compares the Women's Cup to the Men's Cup, or she compares the Women's Cup to the men's like MLS league or something along those lines. Like women get paid, women generate more revenue. But I think I forget. I think Ben Shapiro, not to bring too much politics into this, but he's a conservative. He's a conservative political host. Yeah, I watch him. He brought a point up about how those numbers are kind of skewed, and if you look at overall, men generate a lot more revenue than women do. So it only makes sense for men to get paid more because if a man's going to generate $10 million, then he wants $1 million, and you could pay him that. But if a woman's only generating $1 million and she wants $1 million, well, then you don't really have the money to do that,
I mean, it's basic business, like thinking business-wise. It doesn't really make sense at all.
It's more of a business than women should be unequal because we're sexist.
Yeah. That's all I really have to say on that.
And by the way, if anybody disagrees with that, I'd love to see it in the comments.
Definitely.
I love a solid logical argument that
Yeah.
That can help defend the other side.
I can't really think of another argument for that, but we'll let that be what it is. Do you want to give your final words, and then we'll end it?
Yeah, so my final words, I just wanted to start off with August 16th and 17th, if you live in the tri-state area of New York, the Westchester County Center in White Plains is going to be having a show called the East Coast National. I'll be there August 16th and 17th, probably from like 10 a.m. to like 3 o'clock. If you don't, I should probably explain what it is. Especially a sports show, memorabilia / autograph show. On Friday, there's there's going to be a lot less hold on, let me distract myself. There's going to be a lot of Hall of Fame players there throughout the weekend and celebrities and whatnot. On Friday, there's a lot less. But Friday, I'm going to hopefully pick up some memorabilia, whether it be like autographs or cards along those lines. On Saturday, I'm going to be more there for the celebrities because, as I've told you guys in the past, my grandma works at a autograph company and she does work per diem there. So sometimes I get to meet the players. I'm hoping this weekend, the two players that I say most likely going to meet / hoping to meet. But these are the players I'm most likely to meet because my grandma is amazing and she does these things for me. I'm going to be meeting R.J. Barrett, Walt Frazier, and Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor is actually good friends with my grandma, so I see no problems there. But R.J. Barrett should be pretty interesting to see because he's our age, which is kind of crazy. We're doing a podcast that gets 20 views and he's signing $1 million contract in the NBA.
We'll get there someday.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a ball signed by him and Frazier on the same ball. That would be pretty dope.
That's cool.
I guess beyond that, if you're in the area and you want to go to that, you come see me. You can follow me, at nick.horvath on Instagram, or contact me at nicholashorvath@yahoo.com. If you don't know what I look like, you can look at my Instagram, but or you can contact me, say you want to meet up or along those lines. Anything, I'm down for it. So I'll be there. I guess you just gave me my contact information. As per usual, this podcast is a work in progress. We hope to get better and better each week. The summer's coming to an end. Me, Jonathan, and Brian have pretty crazy summers, whether it be like transferring or jobs or internships, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been a little wishy-washy in terms of who's been on the podcast, but I hope it gets better, and we'll keep working on it and expanding the sport universe. Brian's got his reaction videos out, so I definitely check those out. They're pretty dope. So I guess I'll hand it off to Brian now.
So like I always say, we'll be back next week. I don't know who's doing it. It's basically every week we figure it out. Let us know what you thought of this. Like Nick said, respond to what we said about the controversy, add any comments that you have. Check out our videos on YouTube, TheSportUniverse, where this is being posted. At this point, there's basically a new piece of content every day. It's highlight videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the reacts, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then the podcast on Sunday. Next week I'm going to start posting on our website again, so check all that stuff out. If you're interested in writing for us or editing videos, contact TheSportUniverse2019@gmail.com, or any other position you think we should have, contact us, and thanks for listening.